G'day, Year 5s. We are learning about the European perspectives of colonisation. Alright, that's what you're learning about for the next 2 weeks. And this is the learning intention for the next 2 weeks for your task that you're doing independently. Alright, learning intention. Analyse the effects that the establishment of colonial settlements in Sydney Cove and Van Diemen's Land had on the lives of European settlers and convicts. Alright, so let's have a look at this again. Analyze means, look at intensely or study the effects that the establishment of colonial settlements in Sydney Cove and Van Diemen's Land had on the lives of Europeans. So when they set up these colonial settlements, when they set these up, when they set them up, what effects did it have on the European settlers and convicts? All right. So Sydney Cove around here, and then Van Diemen's Land down here, and we now call that Tasmania. Okay. So we did call it Van Diemen's Land when it was found by Abel Tasman back in the 1600s. And here we have a cool painting here, Van Diemen's Land. All right, there we go. We've got some ships. Some British ships, a settlement over here, a colonial settlement over here, just under the hills. Right, and the trees have been cleared away for room for pastures and housing. All right, we probably have 2 convicts or free settlers or convicts. Free settlers are people that were once convicts and now they're free. So we're not sure who these 2 men might be. All right, so that's your learning intention. And while you're learning about these things, you'll be able to answer these questions through the activities that you do, through the learning that you do, okay? And these are the questions that will come back to you at the end in 2 weeks, all right? So what effects did colonisation have on people? What are the different points of view about colonisation? What different views? Maybe some views, maybe some people thought it was a bad thing. Maybe some viewed it as a good thing. Maybe some viewed it as a really good thing or a really bad thing. Who gained and who was dispossessed? All right? Who gained? Who made money? Who profited? Whose life got better when we colonized Australia? Whose life got better? Right? And who was dispossessed? Dispossessed means whose land was taken away, or whose land was no longer their land. Dispossessed is not a good thing. So who gained things and who lost things? And what was life like for the colonists? What was life like for the colonists and convicts? All right, colonists are most likely, free settlers. People that willingly came over from England, or colonists might be free convicts, people that were prisoners that were convicts and now they're free. Okay, so what was life like for colonists and convicts? So you should be able to answer these 4 questions at the end of the 2 weeks. All right. So what effects did colonisation have on people? So going back to that first focus question. All right. So what effects did it have on people? Were some people brought from England and was colonisation bad for them? Did coming to Australia mean that they suffered? Was colonisation good for other people? Did some people come here and become better off? What effects did it have on them? How did it change their lives? All right. Did it change the lives of people that were already in Australia? And their lives got affected by the colonisation by the British. And your next focus question, what are the different points of view about colonisation? What are the different views? Okay? What were the perspectives of children, convicts and settlers? What were the points of view of women convicts or women settlers? All right? So you'll be learning about what people thought about colonisation, what their different points of view were. How did they see colonization? How were their lives changed? Who gained and who was dispossessed? Okay. Who came from England and made money? You know, who built these houses and made money off the buildings? Who made profits off of the land, off of the produce, off of the things that were sold off the land, off the cotton and the corn and all the food? You know, maybe a merchant business was started, and maybe lots of profits were made by sending things back to Britain, like fleece and spices and natural materials. You know, maybe merchants made a lot of money. They gained a lot of money. All right? And who was dispossessed? Who was here first? And you know, whose land got taken away? All right? So here we have some settlers here, some settlers working. Maybe they're clearing the land, and they're going to grow crops on it so they can gain. All right. And see our last focus question. What was life like for colonial... I struggle with that word. It's a very tough word for me. For colonists. All right. What was life like for colonists and convicts? What was their life like? Was it depressing and sad? You know, was it backbreaking? Was it tough? Was it, really hard on their bodies? You know, here we got some convicts up here. We got some convict workers down here, I assume. You know, these guys look pretty rough. You know, what was their life like in their prisons, in their convict camps? What was life like for them on their prison hulks? All right. So that's what you'll be. These are the questions that you'll be focusing on over the next 2 weeks. All right. Thank you.